Hey, what's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy Ashton Jackson, man, and it happened. We traded away Micah Parsons. I'm not gonna do no intro. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Please do all of that. Spread the good word. Everything of that nature, man. I'm trying to make this um, concise and not trying to cuss too much. I want to be this as professional as I can possible, but I'm trying to talk within reason. Yes, we did trade away Micah Parsons. The compensation for anybody that's new coming across my channel. We traded away Micah Parsons for 2 first-round picks and a defensive tackle and Kenny Clark. Before I go deep into it, I want to say shout out to Kenny Clark. I think that he's going to be a really good player for us. I think he's going to be a really solid player. I think that is a definite upgrade in what we got in the defensive tackle room, but I view him more as a 3 tech than I view him as a nose tackle that is on that upper echelon of like a Vita Vea or Dexter Lawrence. I don't think he plays that type of position. That's not who he is. That's not that type of player. Our defensive tackle room again got better, but I don't think it got significantly better, right? But I feel bad for him, and the reason why I feel bad for a grown man is because now a lot of people are going to start DM him talking crazy behind a computer, behind a smartphone, behind an iPad, talking to this man crazy because he unfortunately got involved in this trade. So now there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be talking crazy about him and to him. So before we even get into the Micah Parsons and what I think about the Dallas Cowboys, I want to say shouts out and respect to Kenny Clark and the Clark family before I go into it. And there's no disrespect, and his name is not going to be mentioned from here on forward in this video. Again, I already talked about he's going to be solid, and that's it. Now on to the Dallas Cowboys, man. My biggest question and my biggest thing is what are we doing and why and what are we doing this for? Because I'm an NFL historian. I love the NFL. I love the NFL from a very young child, man. And I know a lot of things about the NFL in terms of history, in terms of players that played in the 70s and the 80s and the 60s and 90s and all that. My thing is that if you're trying to play in February, in the second week of February, and you're trying to play in the Super Bowl, you need as many really good players as you can possible to hoist that Lombardi trophy. If we want to talk about the salary cap era, think about the 2002 Ravens. If you want to think about the salary cap era, think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If you want to think about the salary cap era, think about the Denver Broncos and no-fly zone in 2015, 2016. Think about that Philadelphia defense that they had last year. Think about the Philadelphia defense that got to the Super Bowl that lost when they lost in Glendale, Arizona. Think about the Kansas City Chiefs and the reason why they've been as potent as they can because of how great their defense has been. Think about all of the times that there has been players built on both sides of the ball, offense, defense, and special teams that can get you, and you need coaching as well. You need matchups. You need, unfortunately, you need injuries to happen for other teams. Like, you just need extreme luck to host a Lombardi trophy. But the number one thing that where it starts is you need the players. You traded away a top 5 player for 2 first-round picks. 2. My bad. I'm sorry. You guys can't see this. I'm sorry. 2 first-round picks. Shouts out to everybody that does draft. I'm very blessed and humbled to be in this community, and I'm going to make sure I want to be part of the NFL, whether it's through content, whether it's through sports agency. Prayfully, it's both. That's why I'm working my ass off right now at my university, so I can be a sports agent. But look, shout out to everybody that does content work, and I can't list them all, but because there's so many great people that are part of this community. But the people that I grew up with watching when I was in middle school, high school: Foots, Sky, Vach, Law, Okoye, J Tuck. I already said Law, I say J Tuck. If I didn't say Lando, your guy Nix, Okoye. I probably already said Okoye, but Henny the Moore, I'm sorry, landlord from Alabama. Everybody that does great work in this space right here, Brian Broadus, everybody that was formerly part, Dane Brugler that was part of the Cowboy community, working Cowboy Radio, Dave Helm, everybody, Nick Harris, everybody that's on that drive show, that is damn good work. We We all do this and we have such a passion for it because we know who the Dallas Cowboys are. We depend and we rely on hosting Lombardi trophies based on what we do in the month of April in terms of drafting. We heavily rely on that Thursday, that's day one. We rely on that Friday for day two. And we really rely on day three for special day three to make that round. Day three consists of rounds 4 through 7, which is majority of the bulk of your roster. We and they do so much great work and put so much hours into this to pray and hope that we find a player even as close to Micah Parsons. And God was with us on Boss Cowboy Sports is another one. Everybody, man. We do this crap to find as many good players to play for this team because we know who we are. That's what this is what makes me as passionate and as pissed off that I am. Because the way in which we team build, it is asinine that we got rid of Micah Parsons for only 2 first-round picks. Because, look, when I'm talking about the Lord was with us on 2021, we traded back with our division rivals 2 spots and we still got a Hall of Fame player. Ain't that something? We traded back 2 spots with our division rivals. We picked up a 3rd-round pick. And we still got the effing player that we wanted that is going to go down as one of the best players to ever lace up cleats. We got him on our organization for as long as we could have. And we traded his ass to a team that has been having our number with 12 at the helm and now with number 10. That's what sucks. You barely got any draft compensation for the level of player in which he is, and you traded him to a team that has your number. They got their modern day version of Reggie White. And we only got him for 2 first-round picks. And we hoping and praying that the next 4 first-round draft picks in which we have coming into the spring coming up in 26 and the spring of 27, we are praying that we even get a player as close as Micah Parsons or even on the level of a Micah Parsons. Because now think about those draft picks, right? Those 2 draft picks that we got from Green Bay, if they stay healthy, that's going to be a playoff team. That's from pick 20 to 32. So now you got a late first-round pick and then whatever the hell you goofy asses doing between September and early January because your asses ain't going to the motherfucking playoffs. So now here we go back to scratch again. This is what I said, and I ain't bull jiving. I ain't doing none of that. Check out my video. After we lost to Green Bay in January of 2024, I did say blow this thing up. But talking about this weak-ass star. So you mean to tell me, because from what I got, and from what I understood in the month of May, when you gave up your 3rd-round pick to your historical rival in the Pittsburgh Steelers for George Pickens, I'm thinking, shoot, we trying to compete. Like, we trying to compete. But if your thing is to just blow it up and you want as many picks as possible, why didn't you trade CeeDee Lamb? Why didn't you go trade Micah Parsons you traded Micah Parsons, but after you got blown out by Green Bay, why didn't you trade away CD? Why didn't you trade away Dak? Why did you pay those 2 gentlemen and keep Micah Parsons around for no reason? You kept him around for what? For what? So now let's look at the opposite side of the coin. What are people saying? I don't give a damn what people say because a lot of people don't know. They don't know jack. You know what? They don't know nothing. There's a lot of us that don't know nothing. They are saying, look, because what's that thing? Coping and depression or whatever they say in terms of like when you don't want to accept something. There's like the signs of grief. It's coping. It's all this. The way that people are coping with this is that they're saying that 2 things. Micah Parsons doesn't show up in the playoffs. And Micah Parsons doesn't show up in any San Francisco games. He doesn't show up in the big moments. Well, damn, that's crazy because for the past 30 years and think about all the teams that we've had prior, none of them MFs showed up either. Them Jones, they show up every single day and they don't get nothing done. They're part of the reason. But look, everyone in 2015 didn't put the blame on Von Miller. What did they go get him? Help. Aqib Talib, Chris Harris, T.J. Ward at safety, Brandon Marshall playing linebacker, DeMarcus Ware on the opposite end, Wade Phillips calling defensive plays. They got Peyton Manning on the offensive side of the football with Kubiak as OC. Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, damn. Your players need help. Players need help as well. On both sides of the ball. I never heard of a quarterback that won a Super Bowl with nothing. Because if that was the case, Patrick Mahomes should have been to the first Super Bowl of the year he got into the league. In terms of when he first started, he should have won all them Super Bowls. If you're talking about a quarterback that can win with nothing. Hell, people make sorry ass excuses for that sorry ass quarterback that plays out in L.A. Justin Herbert, motherfucker ain't do nothing in the league. They make all types of excuses for that motherfucker. But for Micah, he can't get it done. Okay, watch his ass go get it done in Green Bay though. Watch it. Just watch. This is it. And this is just what I'm wondering again. People are also saying, look, well, I mean, you weren't going to the Super Bowl anyway. You were going to be 8-9 win team anyway. Well, damn it, I might as well be 9-8, 8-9 with Micah Parsons, than be 8-9, 9-8 without him. Because what's the point of being a meddling team if the goal is just to get draft picks? Trade everybody. Why is anybody that is worth of significance on our team right now on here? Trade their asses. You don't want Tyler Smith, you ain't gonna pay him, trade him. George Pickens. We traded for George Pickens, guess who his agent is? David Mugoleta. The same agent that Micah Parsons is. So what you gonna do? Now this is what other people are saying as well. Well, since you ain't gonna pay him the non-highest paid contract in the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys could use that money to go pay DeRon Bland and George Pickens and Tyler Smith. Bro, what? It was documented because DeMarcus Lawrence was on a podcast with McFadden, the DB. God forgive me, but forget his name. I'm sorry. I'm that heated. I'm sorry. Him and Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson had a podcast with DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus Lawrence was talking about the contract situation that he had with the Joneses. He paraphrased what the conversations were. Basically, long story short, D-Law left $10 million on the table for the Dallas Cowboys. He took a discount to stay in Dallas, where his family had been living for the majority of his career. He left $10 million to be like, you know what, take that. Go do something with it. He said that in the podcast, I believe, of 2023. That's what frustrates me most, is that it wasn't like we're going to trade Micah Parsons, free up that money, go pay everybody else, then flip those 2 first-round picks that we got to go get an impact player, or to go trade a first-round for a safety, a playmaking safety, or trade the other first-round pick for a playmaking running back. We ain't going to do that. We're going to keep those 2 first-round picks plus our own 2 first-round picks and just keep those and draft everybody. And shouts out to Voch, man. I was listening to a podcast before I got on here because I wanted to process everything. But there was 2 things, but the number one thing in which he said was about paying your players, right? You don't nickel. Sometimes you have to lose the negotiation and lose the money war, lose the battle to win the war or whatever. You would rather lose that battle fighting the agent to get your best player the money. That's cool. I got Zeke right here. You paid those type of players, but you know who you don't sweat over. You know it's okay to nickel and dime. We'll let you play on your last deal. A Mozzie, a Jake Ferguson, a DeRon Bland. You shouldn't even nickel and dime with DeRon Bland being the pick 6 leader. But okay, if you want to nickel and dime him, I'm not really tripping, because he ain't a superstar like how Micah is. If you don't nickel and dime Marshawn Nealon or a Sam Williams or a Malik Hooker or a Donovan Wilson, that's fine. Nickel and dime them, all right, cool. But when you got a top 5 player in the league and he's top 2 at his position, you pay that man his money and you move on. And you figure the rest out later. And number two, you know how I feel bad after Kenny Clark? You know how I feel bad about? I feel bad for Brian Schottenheimer, man. I feel bad because he's trying to establish a culture. And as his first time as a head coach, he's going to have to figure out how to win football games without having his best player on the team, Micah Parsons. I feel bad for Matt Eberflus. I feel bad for every coach that we poached off of people's staff that we thought that we think are going to be such great coaches. I feel bad for all those gentlemen because they got here and just got invited to the circus. That's about it for the video. Hopefully you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.